Part 4 then. If you remember, Chile had asked Paul Unslaved what the constitutional steps were so that he didn't have to have a driver's license.
Okay, I'll put it to you this way. If you walked into your property or onto your property and your servants were telling you what to do, what would be the process there? Right? We have to take it back to the street level. Start showing everybody, including yourself, what a real man and woman looks like. Start showing yourself and everybody else what an honorable, trustworthy, accountable, response-able, righteous man and woman looks like and sounds like and feels like. If enough of us start doing that, they're going to have to change the way they approach us because they can't criminalize all of us good and great people who are doing good and great things and standing on objective logic, morals, and ethics and common sense.
So Chile couldn't answer his own question, and Paul Unslaved really avoided answering the question, although maybe he's calling for revolution.
They can't criminalize all of us. They're trying to, right? Making the documentaries, calling us all anarchists, creating the idea that anarchy, even though it means no rulers, no masters, no slaves, acting like we want no rules, we want chaos. No, there's always law, there's always rules. I want the true law and the true rules of creation upheld. I don't want man's nonsense, day to day, decade to decade, constantly in hypocritical conflicts of interest, right? Just inaccurate on the face of all of it. I mean, I'm not going to get into it because they keep banning me on my channel, right? So now we've lost our right to free speech.
What is he talking about? YouTube, which is not a public entity, if they ban him, is not stopping his right to free speech. He still has his right to free speech.
Because we're all being regulated in the public capacity, the corporate capacity as partners with these different corporations. So we can't speak freely anymore, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. We're giving away our rights at every forefront because we don't know who and what we are, or we're unwilling and undisciplined. We're not disciples of the true way enough to stand on it, right? So you ask me what's the way out?
I think specifically the question was about driver's licenses, but...
Excuse me? What are we? Tell us. Because listen, me, you, David, we're all alpha males, okay? So we go, fudge it. We're not going to get a license. We're going to register our cars, our personal property, our corporation, and we're going to stand up. Now, as the three of us, one or two of us is probably going to go to jail, get our automobile impounded. That's fine, but we're going to stand up for our rights. You know.
Why is Chile so obsessed with the idea of alpha male? I'd be interested to hear a psychologist's view, but I don't know, my layman's view is because he's suffering from some huge inferiority complex. And Chile, you're so alpha, get rid of that driver's license, don't insure your car, and let's see.
I'm not an alpha male because alpha male denotes that we're animals, right? I have a conscience connected to the Most High and Spirit. I'm an honorable man, honor-able. I'm able to honor others who honor themselves and the truth, and I'm able to be honored by folks who can see and understand the truth. So I appreciate what you're saying. I don't mean to pick on you. I'm just saying we have to really look at, right, like on all the forums. What do they ask us? What's your gender, sir? Oh, I'm a male and a female. Really? Those are animal terms. Men and women are masculine and feminine. So when we walk into somewhere and we start denoting and equating ourselves to animals, that's how we get regulated. And they do it in different areas. This is what the clinical psychologists who come forward out of the corporate Darwinism have done, is introduce language to everybody commonly that denotes that we are Hue-Man, hue of a man.
I had to re-listen to that one a couple of times because I've speeded it up. So he's redefined the term human and suggesting that the hue comes from like when we use it in relation to colour, H-U-E.
We are mankind, kind of like man. We're not really honorable men and women. So, this is why I asked David to bring you. Because I want to tell me, how do we get there? How do we get there, Paul? In your vision, how do we get there so that we don't get there, you get there. We don't get there, you get there. One person at a time. Happens one at a time. That's part of the problem. Motherfuckers think this dynamic is a we. There's an individual judgment and collective. The we comes when we are in a camp together. That's when we shows up. From now until then, it's you and I. You and I have to be free, righteous, trustworthy, honorable, respect-able, response-able. Look at all the words. This is the only thing mommy or daddy, right? A lot of us didn't have a daddy in the house.
I can believe that you didn't have a daddy in the household, Paul.
If we did, he didn't show us these things. So we don't have them as a society. That's why we've replaced it with culture. The cult. Go to the black community, right? The epidemic of fatherless households. And you have a bunch of folks who have been mainlined and force-fed, essentially, at every forefront. Toxic culture. Now they're walking around, don't know who and what they are, don't understand values, principles, morals, and ethics, and that's one of the new waves coming forward. Culture is being destroyed on all levels, on all platforms right now, by all types of people, because there's only one self. There's only one self, the I am that am presence, talked about in the scripture. I am that am. I know who and what I am and what I'm connected to and what my conscience was put there for. And I use it and I stand on it. Because the alternative is being a fallen being in a fear space rather than faith. Doing what's wrong, claiming it's true, while ignoring the truth because you're too fearful to stand on it.
Would you believe this guy stood on a stage at some festival and people clapped him? In Shakespearean times, he would have had rotten vegetable chucked at him.
So basically, this comes down to every person watching this to get out there, learn their rights, understand their God-given rights, and then be able to endure the process, endure what you've endured. You may get your car impounded, things may happen to you, but to stand your ground as a as a lawful, well, what would you say, as
A lawful man. I'm a man who observes cosmic, universal,
But
constitutional common law.
This isn't easy. This isn't an easy road. This is not at all an easy road. But it's about standing firm on your ground and being the man of God that we are. Right? That's it. And you may take your hits. You may take hits. I mean, how many times do you get off the hook? Just be honest. Be honest with my audience here. How many times? 9 out of 10 times do you get off the hook? 5 out of 10 times, like when you get pulled over, you don't have a license plate, and you're probably a target for that. How often are you stopped and you get away with it clean and clear? And you're just able to go on your way. How often does that happen?
No, I'll be surprised if we get a straight answer to that question.
See, this is part of the problem, and I'm not picking on you, is you desperately want me to tell you what the percentages are of succeeding and winning. We're way past the point of coming up to show up for battles we know that we can win and succeed. We have to show up for battles now where we're probably going to lose in the short term. But there's a price and a final cost. The way we got here was men gave everything up to be given everything, right? They gave up their lives, their families, their property. They fought and stood on what they believed to be true over tax on tea, whether you believe that story or...
It's interesting to me that he's gone back to the War of Independence there, which at the end of the day was an economic war, whereas all his beliefs seem to go back to his understanding of some form of the Bible.
You're not. So we go from giving up everything for tax on tea to you asking me questions, because I get it. Everyone else out there was raised in the same outcome-based educational cult. So they want to know, hey, if I do this, what are the chances of me getting to the outcome that I say I want? Let me just tell you now, slim to none. You're better off that way. You're better off thinking you're showing up to a fight. We'll take it back to prison psychology. You come in to want to join a gang. The gang's going to surround you and say, we're going to beat on you, and we don't need you to win. We just need you to stand for yourself. We have to see how valuable you are. If you won't stand for yourself in a fight you can't win, you ain't going to be valuable to us. We can't use you. If the Crips and Bloods can't use you, what makes you think God can use you?
But we didn't get an answer to the question.
Interesting. The educational cult. The educational cult of outcome. Interesting quote. David, are you ready to do it? Are you Mr. Nino Rodriguez? Are you ready to surrender your driver's license?
I need to learn more so that when I do get pulled over, I know what to say. I'm not going to...
You don't need to surrender it. You don't need to surrender it. You just don't have to present it and identify as it. I have all those things, sir. But I don't need to present them because I'm not doing corporate activity right now. I'm not engaged in commerce. You know, you should know, like I know, license, registration, insurance, and all that is a commercial capacity. So if you want to ride the line...
Bullshit.
Go ahead.
When you do this and the cop's standing there, what's the level of frustration, and like how long does this play out, honestly, just to let my audience know, like when you're stating your case to the cop and he's sitting there, what lengths does he go to put you in handcuffs, take you away? What happens? Like we never really went into this.
It's all subjective. It's all subjective. It's different each time. I have the videos on my YouTube. I have videos like Valdez. I have one video.
Do any of them respect you and say, all right, man?
Sure, Valdez. The Valdez video where he let me go. He said he wanted to have coffee and he shook my hand, and you could tell in his voice he respected me. He didn't have to like what I was saying or agree. He said, we don't agree. We don't have to agree. Just respect me and uphold my rights. That's all I'm asking of you. Now, there's 2 other videos on there where they stop, they talk for a few minutes, and they say, get the fuck out of the car, and then they open the door and take me out.
So even assuming if he's honest, he has a 66% failure record, and probably the 33% success was only because the cop was just fed up with his word salad.
You know? How long did you take the property?
How long did you go to jail?
I've been in jail for 100 days before, but it wasn't for anything like this. I have a past, right, which was part of what created who I am now, right? I just believe in that philosophy as well, that the darkness is where the light is cultivated, essentially. The crack is where the light enters. So I have a past with going to jail for reasons because I couldn't govern myself, right? Mostly just drug behavior and underground type behavior that I shouldn't have been engaged in anyway for my own self-respect. But, you know, with this moving property thing, a couple days, 2-3 days, because if they get you on a Friday, you're going to have to wait there to see a magistrate, which again is violation of the law. It's innocent till proven guilty. If you put me in a cage for even 3 seconds, I'm no longer innocent until proven guilty. You've caused a loss, a harm, an arrest, a detainment, whatever you want to call it. So you can't keep me for 3 days, then bring a magistrate to me, then say, okay, you can go now. Well, you're already in violation of the law, right? Because it's innocent till proven guilty. Cop can make any claim he wants. Till we go to court, it's presumed that we're both equal, right? But that's not how it goes in a lot of these situations.
Paul, where are these successful civil claims for those unlawful imprisonments?
Like he said on the side of the road, this is part of your punishment. So they've adopted the idea that they're going to be judge, jury, and executioner on the side of the road, take people and property without warrants, and we're going to figure it all out later, right? That's called mafia. It's called a gang, right? That's not due process of law.
I just stopped it there because of Chili's smug face. I think it's because he's in love with another man who doesn't agree with the way the legal system works.
But that's why I say, man, you ask me those questions, I ain't picking on you. I'm bringing a new perspective of how we have to be and what our inner space has to be like and what we have to be okay with in order to move through this, right? It's a forward escape. If we want and need what we say we want and need, if we're going to secure that. If not, then just be okay with not having your rights and freedoms and personal choice. Just be okay with that. And most people, their spirit is not okay with that.
I've no idea where he gets his information that most people are not okay with that.
No,
Right.
I'm not okay with that.
Well,
But,
it's not supposed
so
to be
let me-
because it's of the creation, right? That's the Holy Spirit. It's of the
Yeah.
creation. Go ahead, Chili.
So let me play the devil's advocate here, okay? And you know, remember, I'm on your side here, but let's just play this. So why not just pay the $500 registration fee and the $120 a month insurance and the every 2 years you got to go to the DMV? Why not just curtail to what they want you to do?
Because it's an inconvenience to me and it's a detriment to me, right? It's causing me a loss of my time, my energy, my attention. I have to go congregate around a bunch of slaves. I don't like how that makes me feel. I might even have to get like a support animal to bring in there with me, which is my support animal is a slave on a leash that walks on all fours. So I sometimes go to the DMV if I'm going to go and I bring a slave on all fours on a leash. That's my support animal, right? Because you like to say, we go down to the DMV, we call ourselves a male and a female, we tell them we're animals and that we can be regulated. And where do we go for our insurance? We go to State Farm, interestingly enough. So yeah, you know, we get put on the State Farm, they build a little barn for us, they give us everything we need, we feel safe and secure, but somewhere along the way, I just kind of lose my self-respect. I don't know, I'm weird like that. I'm like one of these theorists, they say, a conspiracy theorist. So for me, right, personally, if you want to use that word, for me as a man, for my conscience, for my spirit, for my morality, I don't ever want to be forced to be somewhere I don't have to be and told I have to do something I don't have to do when all it amounts to is a lack of understanding on everyone else's part. We do this
So it's everyone else who's wrong and Paul is right.
in every area of our life. We do it with quote unquote race, which is colorism. We do it with gender. We do it with sexuality. We do it with everything. I'm not a fan of being told how I have to think, where I have to be when I don't have to be there, and what I'm going to do when I get there, when I am the one who chooses my own destiny, right? But again, I'm weird like that. Most people seem to like State Farm slavery.
I got you, brother. I got it. I mean, it makes complete sense to me. I'm just trying to figure out. I just have to learn more, so I sound more educated when I get pulled over. Then I don't sound like a jackass saying that. You know what I mean? You're very educated in this. You know the correct terminology to use. And I think that's what most people listening to this are like, man, I don't know it like he knows it. I don't know this. I don't have the education that he does on this. You're very well versed in this, and a lot of people may find that intimidating and be like, man, and plus they don't want to go through the hellacious hours and endure, you know, the processes that you've been through. I mean, dude, it's some people just like, yeah, just go on your way. Just give me my license, just do this, do that, and just get on my way. And just have my day, enjoy my day. I don't want to have to deal with this shit. I mean, you take it to another level, bro. You do, which I admire.
I actually think we're just watching three very uneducated men. That is a convenient place to stop because we'll just have one final episode of a similar length. Thanks for watching.